Here's another fancy apologist video that wants you to believe that atheism is over.
What is atheism? Atheism is rejecting belief in any form of unseen divinity.
As an atheist, I don't know what divinity even is. I don't reject it. I can't reject it because I don't even know what it is that I would be rejecting. For that same reason, I don't accept it. I don't know what it is I'm supposed to accept.
The atheist denies the existence of a creator, of divine revelation, and of resurrection.
Well, no, not per se. A person can believe in resurrection without believing in a god. These are distinct concepts.
What is the proof that there is a creator? There are many proofs, but we will focus on two. The first is called proof on the basis of existence, and the second is called proof on the basis of Providence. What is meant by proof on the basis of existence? Everything is temporarily originated. It came into existence after it was non-existent, so it must have had an originator.
That's not true of the universe as a whole. The universe did not come into existence after it was non-existent, because that implies that there was a span of time that began with the universe's non-existence. This implies that time existed before the universe did, which is not the case. The universe is not temporally originated in the sense that there was a passage of time between its non-existence and its existence. There was no time that the universe did not exist.
This means we have 10 to the 124th proofs that a creator exists. This number constitutes the overall number of molecules with their functional activities throughout the universe.
First of all, that's not proof because, as I explained, there never was a time that the universe did not exist. It therefore did not come into existence, and therefore did not need an originator to bring it into existence. Secondly, that's not even how evidence is counted. If the existence of matter with functionalities, whatever that means, constituted evidence of a god, it's silly to count each and every particle as a distinct piece of evidence. That's like a prosecutor counting every atom in a fingerprint and saying there are trillions of pieces of evidence that the defendant is guilty.
By the way, this number is huge. It means 10 followed by 124 zeros. So, everything that originated and entered the sphere of existence is a proof that there is a creator.
But the universe didn't enter the sphere of existence. To do so would be an action, and in order for an action to be performed, time has to exist first.
So everything that has originated is in itself a direct proof that there is an originator.
But the universe hasn't originated in the sense that you seem to mean. And even if it did, why must the originator be the kind of conscious entity that we are told a god is?
What is meant by proof on the basis of Providence? It means that everything ultimately in existence started from the quarks, which are the smallest subatomic particles ever allocated up to the galaxies, carries an extent of functional complexity.
No, not everything started from quarks. Leptons are not made of quarks.
This means that each has a specific and specialized function, and a functional complexity necessarily means a grade above mere existence.
Each has a specific consequence, not a function. The word function implies that the consequences of these particles are the purpose for their existence. And to infer a purpose is to already assume that there is some conscious entity using them for that purpose. It is circular to say that something has purpose, therefore there is a conscious entity using it for that purpose. Because to assert that a thing has a purpose is to already imply a conscious intent.
Existence is a status, and the complexity within the originated thing is a grade above that status of mere existence.
What does that mean? What does it mean to say that anything is above mere existence? Above in what sense? What is the axis or dimension along which something can be measured to be above existence?
So, everything around you is designed in a special method, so as to carry on a special function.
You can't deductively infer from the fact that something has a specific consequence that such a consequence is the function or purpose of that thing.
Hence, everything around you carries a functional complexity, and this complexity is a proof of origination, which means that it must have had an originator.
No, it doesn't, and it certainly doesn't if it never originated in the first place.
An example of this is the lamp. This is a functional complexity. The electric lamp is made up of a coil, a lead wire that connects electricity to the coil. inert gas that protects the coil and does not affect it or the electricity, a glass bulb that prevents the entry of air or the exit of the inert gas, which would otherwise burn the coil, and finally the base of the lamp, which connects the lamp with the socket and ensures the passage of the electrical current. Here, the electric lamp demonstrates a system of complexity that cannot be dismissed or simplified, since it carries a rudimentary, rational indication to the mastery of the manufacturer.
No, it doesn't. If you showed a light bulb to a person who had never seen a light bulb before and had no familiarity with manufacturing processes or metallurgy or glassworks or any of the technology used to create a light bulb, then that person would not at all be obligated by reason to infer that the bulb was deliberately designed or created. It's only if you know about such technology that you can judge deliberate design to be highly probable. Since we know of no technology or process by which an entire universe can be deliberately created, how can we judge its deliberate creation to be probable? Complexity, even complexity that has very specific consequences, cannot itself be the basis of such an inference.
Then, the one who denies the masterful formation of the lamp or assumes that it originated by chance is the one required to fetch a proof to his assumption.
What if you infer that complexity arose from the regularities described by physical laws rather than by chance? Would that not be the simplest inference?
The lamp maker knows pretty much well what electricity means, how it is conveyed, the benefit of the lamp, and the sensitivity of the coil. That's why the presence of the lamp is in itself a proof on the mastery of the maker.
How does that follow? Why does the existence of a thing require the existence of an entity which knows how it's made? You don't need to know how to make a kidney stone in order to make one. You can make one totally undeliberately.
While having a diverse array of lamps can never be a proof that it is all just mere chance. Using this same rationalization, we can deduct that a creature with all this functional complexity, the human being, must have had an originator.
That doesn't follow, though. Functional complexity only seems to mean complexity with specific consequences. You're just assuming, baselessly, that specific consequences must be functions or purposes.
The lamp is made up of 4 components, whereas the human being is made up of 3 billion components in each and every one of his cells. The human code is spelled out in 3 billion DNA letters, known as the human genome. And these letters reside within the nucleus of each of our molecules.
Each of our molecules has a nucleus? And each of our molecules has its own DNA? Maybe whoever made this should have taken the money they spent hiring a movie trailer voiceover guy and spent it on a scientifically literate editor.
So, if you look at the 4 components of the lamp and deduce that it must have had a maker, and you do not realize that you too must have had a maker, then the problem is in your way of thinking.
I wouldn't deduce that it had a maker. I don't think you could deduce such a thing. Rather, I would inductively infer that it had a maker, but not from the fact that it has components. I would infer it from the fact that it strongly resembles other things that I know are produced in factories. Biology does not.
Allah says, what means, were they created out of nothing, or are they their own creators?
Neither. Nothing, in the sense of an absence of the existence of the universe as a whole, has never been a state of affairs. There never was nothing. I don't know if you've heard, but I do have a Patreon.